And we are live. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Beyond the 90. We've got a friend one of the friends that I see and I don't see enough of, but every time we catch up, it's just a fantastic opportunity. We've got Dan that's done amazing things since we met at university and's gone on to work for the BBC. Dan, how are you, my friend?
Hey Neil, it's great to catch up, mate. I'm doing great. Thanks for the intro. Really appreciate that. Great to I've listened to your podcast every now and then, and obviously really enjoy hearing your views on Leicester. But yeah, it seems like we've gone a long way since uni. It's 4 years ago now. It's mad.
It's 5, man. Yeah, it's 5. It'll be this year because it's 2016.
I think. Really? You left in 2016. I left in 2017.
Okay, no worries, no worries. But no worries, right? Again, Dan is the last time we talked, and then we met up and talked. Leicester City had just won the league, and Villa had got relegated in the most humiliating form. Now it's amazing how football changed, isn't it? Over these 5 years or 5 years.
Man, it was a terrible time. Like I'm lucky I was in uni during the time Villa were terrible, and even then it seeped into sort of like my work life. When I eventually did end up working in sports journalism, but like at the time it was terrible. Like there were genuinely times I'd have to just miss Villa games, like because you don't want to, you don't want to listen to Villa getting beaten by like Luton in the Championship or something on a midweek radio commentary. But that's not to say I'm a poor supporter. It's just that we weren't particularly entertaining. But Leicester, that's when you guys were made, right? Like that has to be the biggest moment in Leicester's history. I mean, it may well get topped, but I don't think ever in that fashion, because what happened then, it was just so unique. And I don't think any other team really has ever experienced what Leicester experienced that season.
Yeah, it was mental. And just going back to that in kind of like, I don't know if I remember saying the season, because I couldn't, I was like, we'll see. What can we do? We'll see. And that's what I kept saying until about a few games towards the end. And then I was like, oh my God, this is happening. It was an unbelievable time. But obviously since then, again, so much has changed. One of the main things that's changed, obviously, of recent, Steven Gerrard's come in. Obviously, it's only been a few games. I know a lot of people are looking at him. But what have you made of him so far?
I'm honestly really, really impressed. I think at first I was a little bit worried, thinking, okay, you've got a manager who's proven himself in Scotland. You never quite know with that. Like, there's no disrespect. It's just a massive step up. And I think Gerrard would probably agree with me on that. Like, it's a massive step up to the Premier League. Dean Smith, obviously, Villa hero. There was that Villa in his blood that even when he left, it never quite sat right with the Villa fans. Even the Villa fans that knew that it was the right time for him to go and knew that his time was up, it never quite sat right. You've got the homegrown boy basically leaving, and that's it. Because Grealish and Smith were like both like massive parts of the club, but in a way, I think it's a nice time now for the club to just move on from that period of time. We're not that plucky team that needed saving and getting up from the Championship. It's time now for the owners to basically say, well, look, we need to push on. And they obviously see Steven Gerrard as that man. And there's just pure class that's exuded by the guy ever since he's come in. All the players have been saying in their post-match interviews that they're just working harder. When players have got injured, Gerrard said, well, we expected it because I'm having to work them harder than they were being worked before. Not in a way that's disrespectful to Smith, but their standards, and you can tell that the standards have been raised by Villa, and you can see that in the way that they're playing, and you can see that in the attitude of the players. And thus far, I can't say that Gerrard's put a foot wrong.
Damn, I mean that's great for you. Not very good coming into this match, obviously, for us. And in terms of the way they set up and play, but it's just been one of those things that they've just gone from strength to strength. And obviously, again, something that's I'm going to have to bring it back, because that's something. Obviously, you mentioned Grealish, but obviously the kind of the selling of Grealish and the bringing in of Bailey, Buendia, and Ings. Has it really worked out? I mean, obviously, Grealish is going to be a miss. I don't think it's as big as a miss as I think the media have reported it's going to be, obviously, because it's not doing well. But at the same time, Villa still have a very, very good squad from last season.
I'd say that we have a better squad than last season. We really do. And that's the thing with the Grealish thing. It was never a post-mortem. It's the club moving on. Like, would I have been happier if Grealish stayed? Yeah, of course I would have been. He's probably the best player we've had in years. But it happens. Look, do you remember with Leicester when Leicester won the league, there was that exodus, Riyad Mahrez went, Kante went, and
over a couple
Leicester
of
City.
years. But yeah,
Was that sorry?
I was mostly again that didn't happen immediately, but that was over a certain amount of period. But Kante was the big one for us.
Yeah, but it wasn't a case of all right, that's happened now, that's it, end of story. Like that's the end of it. It's like no,
it's the easy narrative.
You deal with it, you move on. That Villa's plan there was bring in Bailey, Ings, and Buendia, and the three of them will bring in Jack's attributes, but spread it across the team. And yeah, honestly, like it's a great idea. But thus far, Bailey's been injured for most of the season. He's injured again. He won't be available for this game. Even when he has showed flashes of brilliance. Buendia has taken him a little bit of time. Ings, I think, will be useful. Useful, I should say, for us. But at the same time, I do think we've got a better squad for it. I definitely just think we have more options, and that's only a good thing. We didn't have the depth before.
Yeah, and that's kind of, again, that's showing that you're building for the future as well. I think that was a good thing, because that's where Leicester was a couple of seasons ago, where we had a good starting 11, and the reason why we fell on the table is because we didn't have that squad depth, and we're slowly building that. But it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and it takes patience. And I think your owners are investing in the right people at the right time. And something I've not talked to you about as well, that video, I've gained a lot more respect for your owner for coming out and stating it how it is. And I think a lot of people went, fair enough. It's as neutrals as well.
It was weird, right? It was weird that he basically just came straight out as soon as Grealish was sold and was like, look, everybody calm down. It wasn't our owner. That was actually Christian Perslow, who's the, I believe official title is like chief executive or, at the club. So it was Christian Perslow who came out and he explained, the owners, Wes Edens and Nasser Sawiris, that, look, they wanted to keep Grealish, of course, because they want the club to progress. They don't want to be known as a selling club. But Grealish had that clause in his contract. Look, to put it straight, Grealish wanted to move. He wanted to move. He wanted to leave to a team where he can go and play Champions League football, and that's fine. But I think for Villa fans, and I think for the Villa owners, in their case, it's look, we want to be there eventually. We want to be in the Champions League eventually, and that's very much sort of the plan on their end. Otherwise, I think they would have let Grealish go a lot easier if it wasn't. And I think that's the main thing for the fans. They tried their best, but you can't ultimately stop a player from going. And so far, the intent from the club, the fact that they sat Smith, a few games into that losing streak, and said, look, no, we're not going to accept this. We're not going to accept sort of bottom mid-table kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. So it's good. It's good the owners show that intent, and I think the fans feel that, and feel that the owners do care about success.
And just care about the club. I mean, the amount of clubs there are, especially speaking to bigger fans like Arsenal's and Man United, that they don't have that. Obviously, Villa's not perfect. Even things like, I know they're turning the right corner, but I think West Ham, even their ownership, they don't like their ownership. They just like the fact they're doing well kind of thing. There's a lot of it is a weird dichotomy there. A majority of the owners don't like their fans, so it's good to hear that. But in terms of...
they were happy about him, were they, eventually at the start? Yeah. It was a lot of anger.
It was unbelievable, and how that's changed. But like anything, just like we're seeing with Benitez, if you're winning, you can cover over all cracks, all aspects, because you're winning and getting the 3 points. In terms of, obviously, over the years, when we've been to Villa Park and playing you in the Championship and things like that, it was always a fortress. And I think, obviously, I think it's starting to become that once again, isn't it?
Not yet. I mean, okay. That's Gerrard's task, right? That's Gerrard's task is to make Villa Park a fortress. I mean, certainly over the last couple of seasons, and getting to grips with the Premier League. We've had. So Villa's a funny one, right? Where I think a lot of people kind of look at Villa and go, well, yeah, it's, a very good club, very talented. And I think other people probably look at Villa and go, sort of like, oh, they're terrible. It could be bottom half, and that's because you might just happen to be watching Match of the Day for a period of a few months where Villa are either terrible or very good. There doesn't seem to be a period of time where Villa are just kind of Villa. It's just we have really bad spells throughout the season, and very good spells throughout the season. And that's why I don't think there has been that consistency at home. But every team that seems to do well in the Premier League nowadays has that. You look at Burnley, I won't say they're a super ambitious club, but you don't want to go to Turf Moor. You know it's going to be difficult to go get 3 points there, and that's what you want. In the same way, Villa 2-1 defeat City at home this week. Still made it hard for City. Still made it hard for City to come there and get the 3 points. That's what you want to see. So Villa Park, for it to be a fortress again, it really does need, all the focus and the attention from the players, and for them to keep working hard under Gerrard.
Yeah, that sounds obviously good, but not good for us going into this game. In terms of obviously something that I was going to say in the back line, obviously Con is probably going to set up what he's been setting up like a 4-2-3-1 so far, kind of under Gerrard.
He's very consistently played a 4-3-3, or you can call it a 4-3-2-1, because his wingers happen to be ridiculously centered, like ridiculously narrow. Like he's basically playing with 2 number 10s. So
Right,
that's kind of the formation he's been playing. 4-3-3, I'd say, yeah.
Okay, because again, knowing Leicester at the moment, our defense is all over the shop. It really isn't great. It's not good. So having 3 players, even though we've got Johnny Evans, who I know is a great player, but we're gonna struggle defensively. But the problem is, we're gonna have to try and win games 3-2 or try and win games 4-2 like we've been doing. But we're definitely not keeping a clean sheet. So it's that point you'll see especially from set pieces. It's I think the first set piece goal from Arsenal, Chelsea, and now Southampton have all gone in. And it's been like there's probably name a few matches more where we've conceded the first set piece of the game, and I've gone, oh dear.
That's nerves, man. Like I guarantee you that in training they're dealing with that. Yeah. They're dealing with that in training, and I bet they were dealing with it a few months ago. That has to be nerves. That was initially what we started seeing with Dean Smith, like just brittle. Like, how have you let that go in? Mm-hmm. Like, why is it that another player is getting to it before you? Is that it? Are you seeing that? Like, is it looking like kind of, I wouldn't say attitude, but is it looking like the other team kind of wants it more from these set pieces, or?
It's just like a 3 man in the box. It's just like you're being out jumped by a player that can jump higher than that. It's a mixture of zonal. A lot of people, I don't know, especially older fans, and I agree in terms of from listening to people that have obviously a top team will play like a mixture of zonal and man marking. I'm still a bit old school. It's like, well, pick your man, stick with him. If you lose him, it's your fault. Now, obviously, football's moved on since then, but it always comes up when you're playing badly. And do you know what I mean? It's always a fault when you're conceding from set pieces. So that's what I'm not sure.
Maybe you need to go the way of like what other teams are doing now and get a set piece coach.
Let's see.
That's what we've got.
We need one. We need all sorts from set pieces. But in terms of that, how have you been from set pieces? Obviously, it's a bit weird now because obviously the Dean Smith era is kind of over. As you were saying, Gerrard's come in, brought a whole new thing. So, as you know, the whole atmosphere around the club changes and the whole personality changes.
So we were pretty bad from set pieces. If I remember, like last season, I think there was a game where I can't remember if it was this season or last season. It was a game we were playing Southampton. And I think it was last season. James Ward-Prowse, like I think he scored like 2 free kicks or something like that. Well, Southampton like just basically scored from like free kicks, and they were like 3-0 up or whatever.
They did us as well. We had 2-2 draw.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like so then that's why Villa fans were so excited when we were linked to James Ward-Prowse in the summer. But it was definitely an issue, the set pieces. And Villa did bring in Austin McPhee, who's a set piece coach, and that's why when you see Villa get a throw in against teams like Man City, Matty Cash is doing a long throw in because they've got someone in to do every single set piece and like absolutely just look at everything. But they hadn't scored a free. They hadn't scored off a corner, I don't think, until Gerrard came in, and Ashley Young like got an assist off one. And then obviously he scored off a corner last week as well with Ollie Watkins. So if you're telling me that Leicester's defense can't deal with set pieces right now, that makes me happy.
That makes me not.
But it was definitely well, it depends. It depends if Villa won the game or not. Because before Gerrard came in, the 5-game losing streak with Dean Smith, anytime you see a free kick, you're just kind of like, they're not dealing with it. It's brittle. They're not working hard enough. Which I don't like to say that about professional players, but you can see it. You can see it when a new manager comes in and suddenly they're running around a lot more.
Yeah.
I get into balls quicker.
It's just one of those things where, again, it's just show how important the mentality is, and the mental side of football and sports in general is so much of a big thing. Because again, you're speaking about Matty Cash and obviously Matt Target. I don't know if he started too much this season, but both of them obviously
he went off injured last game. But
yeah, I was going to say I think I saw him on the score sheet, or the assist sheet. And the fact is, them two are kind of like really, really underrated fullbacks, in my opinion.
Right, so they were definitely getting slaughtered by Villa fans. Well, Cash not so much. Matty Target was, and I'm not shy in saying he was having a terrible season, but I'm glad you brought up fullbacks because actually, like that for me. If you watch a Dean Smith Villa game, then you watch a Steven Gerrard Villa game back to back, the first thing you will notice is the fullbacks. Like now that basically what happens is I'll explain it in layman's. Nobody wants mad tactics here. Yeah, Matty Target and Matty Cash have a lot more space to run up and support the attack, right? And what happens is 2 of the 3 central midfielders will dip back into the fullback position and allow the fullback to just go and run, basically. So, John McGinn or Douglas Luiz, whoever's playing a centre mid, will drop back into the fullback position. So Matty Target looks a lot more free, and so does Matty Cash, and that's why they're looking so much better under Gerrard right now. So they're actually like attacking fullbacks. Leicester have been playing that way, haven't they? I don't know if certainly that's what they were known for before. Like when you had Chile there last season.
Yeah, I mean, it was a weird, again, not last season, the season before, but we used to play that way. Now, I think defensively there's so many problems that they do pick their times. I think what happens is that one will go and one will stay back, and that one normally at the moment is Castagna, who I really, really like as a player, and he's been one of our most consistent. Yeah, really, really consistent performer. Brought it from Atalanta. I think he's a quality player and a quality leader, but they picked their time. Before they were blasting up and down. Now we've got defensive issues. We need these 2 to kind of stick back a little bit more, and they do a decent job defensively. However, they've still got massive problems. I think one thing as well in terms of obviously where you are, and obviously you're not in the best position at the moment, but I just want to get your thoughts on kind of the Premier League in general. I mean, obviously Villa, you're in 13th, we're in 10th at the moment, but there's not that many points. I think celebrated. There's 3 points, so if you win, you go on the same points as well. But you look at the likes of obviously Brentford, Crystal Palace, Brighton, Wolves, West Ham. There's so many kind of teams that are outside this traditional top 6 that are performing way above their, and in a positive way, because we've been told this before ourselves, that have upped their levels massively, that I think people still aren't paying attention to.
Yeah, but they won't have this. They won't have the depth to sustain that over a season. That's the thing. Well, West Ham might, right? Like West Ham have been pretty consistently good since last season. Wolves, I can't see it. Like maybe, but you don't know. Like maybe a team has like a Sheffield United style go at it. But I just think that when you look at I won't say traditional top 4. Oh, if you look at like Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, all of them have squads which are ridiculously good. One player goes out, another 50 million player comes in, right? And that top 4 is like almost unbreakable. I suppose underneath that, you're kind of hoping Arsenal and Tottenham have like terrible seasons. Leicester are in there as well. And like, it's going to be a struggle for Leicester probably this season. But again, like it's so open. It's ridiculously open. Like I look at 5th and 6th and I just think, look, you're not settled there. There's no way you're settled there. Even Newcastle, who are bottom of the table right now, I can't say with all my heart that they're going to get relegated. Look at Norwich. All of a sudden they've had a couple of wins and it's looking escapable for them now. Like I don't know what it is with this season, but everybody's almost so evenly matched below the top 4 that you just don't know where it's going to land.
Everton are another one I've just realised about. Leeds again could put up a good fight. Southampton again hit and miss. Again they turned up against us. And then what was it? Watford obviously with Ranieri. So lose 4-2, win 4-2, lose 4-2, win 4. It's the same as kind of us. So it's the most exciting league I've seen in quite some time in terms of individual brilliance. And I think I was talking about this on another show. I think it was off air. But you look at the players that are at, like, if you look at, again, I'll try and bring them up here. Oh, I've lost them now. The top scorers, again, obviously you've got Mohamed Salah. Everybody's talking about him. I'll try and bring that up now. And rightfully so, obviously, Mohamed Salah. Jamie Vardy's in second with how well he's been playing, which is still, people have not been paying attention to that. A lot of people have been talking about Jota and things, but Jamie Vardy's still second. Sadio Mane, you're looking at Emmanuel Dennis, Mikel Antonio, then Ronaldo, then Rafinha, then Joshua King, Emile Smith-Rowe, and a lot of people on 5. Again, the people that I thought at this stage of the season, Yes, Sar. Where is Sar? Is he further down? Have I missed him? Oh, yeah, Sar. Yeah, on 9th. Yeah, more
Reece
pay.
James.
Yeah, it's madness. It was madness. A few days ago, Reece James had more goals and assists than Cristiano Ronaldo. It's
That's crazy.
absolutely insane. So we were looking at some of the statistics, and I was going, that's an example of like how the players that you would expect to be there. Harry Kane up in that one, he's not. Maybe Aubameyang, but Aubameyang should be, if his levels were as high as they were, they should be up the late table. Romelu Lukaku is another one. Ronaldo wasn't until at least he's got a couple of goals. And do you see what I mean? These players should be, and they're nowhere near it. It shows you how open the league is. And who would have thought this side that Emmanuel Dennis would be, I think, joint fourth?
Mate, it's the players that come from that part of the world, man. They take, you've got one yourself, Pascal Daka.
Yeah,
the sort of coming out of Holland, Belgium, the strikers that come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But I just thought, yeah, it's just, for me, it's just mental in a good way and a bad way. But obviously, the only issue is I could trust Leicester, but we are trying to compete on two fronts in Europe with quite a strong Europa League team. Obviously, I know you play midweek, but we normally play once a week, and a lot of our opponents that don't, they tend to come up against us because they've got more time in training. Now that we've both played on the weekend, I think Villa coming into this will be looking for the 3 points at home, I think.
No, I think absolutely. I think so. The Man City result obviously was it's not a good result. Losing is never good, but the performance was there, and I think for that to kind of, and they want that to be a footnote. Like, for that to be a footnote, really, what they want is to get in at Leicester and go back to winning ways. Like, it's not forget the 2 wins that Gerrard came in with and back to normal. Like, they've got to keep the momentum going, and they've got to almost ignore the fact that the last one was an L. Like, keep that performance up. And like, I look at Leicester as a winnable game. Like, last season, I would have been a lot more afraid. But something's not right with you lot at the moment for whatever reason. I think whether it's sustaining, trying to keep up with those huge sides when you just don't have the same budget. And like, I mean, here's a question for you, Neil. So you might absolutely hate this and get at me for it, but like, has Brendan Rodgers taken you as far as he can now? Like, is there a case for you to like make a big play for, like, I don't know who's better than Rodgers on the market, but
that's the thing, because there's always the thing is, we want him out, then who do we get in? But also I think in terms of what Rodgers brings, it's not just about the team at the moment. It's all the way through the academy. There's a brand new training ground set up. So you're looking at things like this and thinking Rodgers can have an impact all the way down the line. And so maybe he won't. Maybe this team, yes, potentially could be on the way out, but then there's a new breed that's going to come in, and we've changed our way entirely in about 5 years since we won the league. All of them players, pretty much, apart from Schmeichel, Albright, and Daniel Amate, Kasper Schmeichel, are all gone. So now they've got a new way of kind of, literally, they've all, until this season, all of them, Wes Morgan, Danny Simpson, Andy King, Matty James, Shinji Okazaki, Riyad Mahrez, N'Golo Kante, they've all moved on. So we're a brand new team. Yeah, it's quite amazing. So is it Pete? These questions are always going to be asked when we don't turn up. I think he's the right man for the right job at the moment. I don't think he's going to be here the long term, but it's so weird, man, because we went from finishing 14th to finishing 1st to finishing 14th to finishing 9th to finishing 8th to finishing 5th. So our expectations are all over the place.
Last season, man, that for me,
yeah.
Oh, man, it
hurts.
Obviously Villa didn't finish anywhere near that.
Yeah,
but I feel like finishing 5th after kind of having, that being that long in the Champions League place, like it would hurt. Like I remember the Martin O'Neill days. Like, Villa were finishing 6th consistently, but it was like,
it was our manager as well. Remember, Martin O'Neill was ours from 1997 to 2000. So before we went to Villa.
True. Yeah, he loved that part of the world. But like, I remember, like, was finishing 6th consistently, and I was like, bro, but when are you going to break the top 4?
Yeah.
Like, at what point? What's the
Yeah.
plan? Because if you try and hang around that kind of fifth and sixth base like long enough, like it doesn't go up. It will just slowly go down.
And the Champions League money is just too much. And teams like ours, we could do so much with that kind of money. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We were so close twice in a row, but again, I just tried to block part of that bit out of my memory because it was just so. Again, it was so frustrating. But again, it was our opportunity, and now the more we look at it, with Conte going to Tottenham, with Ragnick obviously coming in, look at the strength of Man United, looking at obviously Arsenal are a bit weird. I don't know if they're ebbing and flowing all over the place. Obviously, Liverpool, it looks like the only spot that's available is fourth, and fourth spot, there's about 5-6 different teams, I think, vying for that position quite comfortably.
And United will get it. Like, I'm pretty confident in saying that somehow or another they'll. Oh, maybe Tottenham, maybe Conte's Tottenham, but like, I just feel like Rangnick is probably going to. I mean, look, Ronaldo's that factor. He's the key. Forget everything else. Forget everything else at United. Is Cristiano Ronaldo going to allow one of his teams to finish anything below fourth? Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, so that's the thing at the moment. I think we're in terms of the way that Leicester are working and the way that Man United. So it's kind of difficult, I can imagine. But anyway, we'll bring it back to kind of into kind of Villa and the way that things are working there. What is there a player to really look out for that's going to have been underperforming? I think we had Chris. I forgot what his second name is now. Chris from used to run Villa together before. He was saying that something to look out for a couple last season was Douglas Luiz. Is there anybody else that you'd say as well, or who would you say is your pick?
So, in terms of looking out for, you mean like specifically for the next game, like who's dangerous, right? Okay, so. Yeah, I mean, with Bailey injured now, like, I can't say baby, but like, our man Ollie Watkins, he's looking better and better every game. Like, he's looking sharper and sharper. So, like, I'd say Ollie Watkins, obviously our striker, is going to be a key man to watch.
Ethan said he's 3-3, isn't he, at Villa Park? Or is it so far?
Yeah, he's 3-3 games at Villa Park. Like, Watkins is on fire at the moment. And like, one thing that you know about Watkins, like, he was intense before. Like, he was intense under Dean Smith. Like, he wouldn't give defenders a rest. But under Gerrard, where you know he's working them harder, where like you know that he's pushing the intensity even further. Like, imagine what you can get out of Watkins. Like, this is a guy that, you know, even under poor form, when he wasn't scoring goals, like Gareth Southgate was still picking him over Patrick Bamford. Like, this guy presses. Like, he's a traditional pressing forward. So I think Ollie Watkins is definitely one to look out for. Obviously, Buendia is going to be looking to kind of get his form going. John McGinn as well is looking like the best version of himself. So that's another one to mention. And the one that Villa fans have been praising the most is actually a defensive midfielder who's been running games for the last, like, since Gerrard came in. But like, Marvelous Nakamba has probably been, and I'll say this as well, he has been Villa's star performer since Gerrard came in that central defensive midfield role. Like, his passing's improved, he's running around, not giving, attackers a rest at all, and just playing that anchor role in front of the defense massively. So those are 3 names, I'd say.
Fair enough. That's pretty good. Again, it's always interesting to hear opposition fans. Obviously, we're having at the moment with Matt. It looks like Jamie Vardy's obviously back into form, but he's been in form this season. You're looking at Maddison. It's fine. Again, people are worried about that, but this is what we've seen before. At the moment, he's looked sensational. He's looked really, really good, creating some amazing opportunities. I think he's 3-3 now in terms of the Premier League. So there is.
How does he not get a look in? Sorry, just Neil. Just to say, how does he not get a look in for England? Like, it's ridiculous.
He's not consistent enough.
Is that a big thing?
If he played to his, like he's been playing all season, he would be in that team. In that he'd be I think the money. I think the like, you've got the golden boy in Kane. I think the golden boy is Mount as well. I think Gareth Southgate loves Mount. You're looking at the likes of I wouldn't say Smith. I think Arsenal fans would say Smith Rowe. I wouldn't say just yet, just because the amount of talent, like Grealish, obviously, Foden is there as well. There's a lot of competition for that one place. And if Maddison could keep that up until the end of the season. He's looking at going to the starting in the World Cup, as in going with the World Cup. But he has to keep these levels up. He can't just drop. He has to keep these levels up again and again. And that's because I know the potential. You've probably seen them over the years. Players that have the potential, but can they just do it on a consistent basis? And everybody would love them. People love Maddison because he's got that trick in his flick. But when it's not going well, he needs to be dropped. And at the moment, he's just on form. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, he's like, he will be a danger man. It'll be like, in a way, it'll be really weird seeing you guys with Maddison and us without Grealish. Like, because that's what we've been used to. Like, it's been like those two guys like for years, kind of in the Villa Leicester matches, looking like the main dudes. And it's always been Grealish versus Maddison, and that's not really a thing anymore. Like, Maddison's having a much better season than Grealish. I can say that now that Grealish isn't at Villa. But like, he's definitely the guy I'd be scared of.
He's been poor. He's been poor for a lot of the season. He's just coming into form now. I think Grealish, in terms of his statistics, has not been great. But from what I'm hearing from Man City fans, they're creating opportunities. They just can't. They've just not got the player in the middle to finish all these opportunities.
They could do with both Vardy or Daka.
Yeah. They could do with just. But again, that's too low for them. They'd go for somebody Lewandowski or something.
Is it like? I know he's been a proper like Europa League striker, but like, is it logical as a Villa fan to worry about Daka coming off the bench and scoring the winner against us?
I'm not sure. He's only scored one goal in the Premier League so far. Obviously, he's in Europa League. He's been great. I think he's got 5 goals in the Europa League now. So he's become our highest goal scorer in like 4 or 5 games in Europe already. It was unbelievable. I think they had a couple of players on 4, and then he's come on now with 5. So with Jamie Vardy, we're kind of everybody thought he would rest on against Southampton because he would play only once a week. Now this will be a test to see what Brendan Rodgers does. This is the real moment of truth for him. Will we start Jamie Vardy, who is still the second top striker in the league, when you've played on Sunday and he scored 2? He's played a full 90 minutes against Southampton. Now is the opportunity to give Daka and rotate the squad a little bit. I'm not sure. I genuinely don't know. But it's as you know at the moment, it's a good problem to have.
No, definitely. Like, you want those options, but I suppose, like, again, it's just that's not your issue, is it? As you were saying, like, it's that defense. Like, but the thing is, if you do score a couple of goals against Villa, like, I'm not convinced that our attack is rocking yet. Like,
oh, really?
With Bailey injured now, like, Gerrard's gonna have to make another change to that front line. Like, Buendia's not been a £40 million player yet. You can't rely on Ollie Watkins every single week. Like, he can't get you a goal every game. So Villa haven't had a consistent front 3. Like, it's just not linked up right. Smith was trying to shoehorn 2 strikers up front. You'll know this again. Like, you can't do it. You can't let Leicester have had that issue in years, like having 2 or 3 really good strikers at the club. Like, you can't shoehorn 2 strikers together just because they're both great in that position. And now they're having to get accustomed to this 3 up top. And I know we have about 5 wingers, but I think more than half of them are injured.
That's the problem. Again, that's just football, especially coming into the busy part of the season where it's all going to be there in certain parts. But yeah, in terms of that, I'm just thinking, I mean, I think for a neutral coming into this game, it's going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, 100%. When you're talking about a Villa team that are running around, you've got a Leicester team who are known for being dynamic. Like, yeah, there will be goals in this game. Like, it's not going to be a 0-0. But like, Leicester versus Villa is always a great game. We've turned you over in like recent seasons as well in big games. Like, but you've also turned us over as well in recent seasons. So
have you turned us over? I'm trying to think of recent when you've turned us over last. Like, as in you beat us the 1-0.
Yeah.
That was a very even game. I think you deserved to win, but it was quite an even game throughout. The 2-1. The 2-1 is, and then, but we battered you as well. The 4-1, 4-0, for example, or for the semi-final. It's been, and then another. I think it was 4-0 when we went to your ground, and Jamie Vardy got 2 as well. I was thinking, right, okay. So there's been some. It's always been exciting. I'll give you that. But again, with you coming into form, and we are we've kind of bottomed out from what it seems like, but whereabouts on this bottom, I genuinely don't know.
But Neil, famously, Villa are great at handing teams their form back. Like that's what I've experienced as a Villa fan. So
fair enough.
Fair
enough. So also, what have you thought again of kind of, because Jamie Vardy always seems to get goals against Villa. I think that's just kind of written. So that would be another thing that's kind of playing to hand. Are you kind of hoping again from your question that he doesn't play and that Daka plays? Because again, Daka's in terms of his pressing is unbelievable as well. I think Jamie Vardy's good. He is great and he picks opportunities, but Patson Daka is everywhere at all times. Probably like Ollie Watkins from what I'm hearing.
So did you catch the Villa City game, or did you see the goals at all?
I didn't manage to get it.
Right. So the second goal was because Villa's defense like pushed high up and like literally left left one of our defenders alone to deal with a City break. And Bernardo Silva obviously like got that ball over the top. Yeah, exactly. I know, right? So if Villa play a high line, like that would play into your hands. I mean, it was played into our hands before when you've played a high line.
Yeah.
So like Vardy against a Villa team that don't like sitting back anymore, and certainly won't. I mean, look, you know, if you bring the attack to us, Villa have a very good shape. They have a good shape they can maintain. But Villa's issue is losing the ball in the opposition half and then just being counted on. That does happen to us. So, you know, Vardy being there, it worries me a little bit. But Daka's just as potent, man. It's two different issues, but they're both issues. Both issues to deal with. So,
but you can't play them both at the same time. That's the thing. And also, remember, if we're going to play two strikers up front, the best person to play alongside him is Iheanacho as well. But you can't play Iheanacho with the form that Maddison's in. It's just a golden problem. But you've got, I mean, our bench is still, I mean, again, we're getting towards, on paper, we should be doing a lot better than what we are. I think in terms of, I'll try and find our bench, but we had, we're a good team. And I think against, I've got the Southampton up here. In terms of the bench that we had up, let me just find it now. Who was it? Lineup. So sorry, I didn't hear that. But Albrighton, Ward, Iheanacho, Perez, Amati, Chowdhury, Dewsbury Hall, Vestergaard, Daka. Bearing in mind that's with Fofana out, James Justin out, and Yuri Tillemans out. So that's a squad, isn't it? That's a hell of a squad. So on paper we should be doing a lot more. Actually, there's a good point as well. Yeah, Daka is quicker than Vardy. Villa deserve a point at City. Ndidi has been one thing to look out for. Ndidi over the last couple of games has been quite poor, to be honest. The first time I've said that since he joined the squad, since he joined the team. Sorry.
Why is that? Is it a lack of focus? Like, because obviously that's really important in that position.
I have no idea. I have no idea why it is. Something is just happening, and I've not seen this since he joined the squad in 2017. He's not been like, and it's really strange. I'm not sure exactly why it is. Some people are saying he's missing Yuri Tillemans alongside it, but I've seen him without Yuri Tillemans, and he's been a rock who's been in that number 10. Because before Yuri Tillemans, we didn't have a number 8 as good as him, so it's not really an excuse.
Who's he playing with at the moment?
They keep starting Samore, but another person that I think you'll see more is somebody called Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. He's one from our academy. He did really well in the Championship and has come into the Premier League against. Part of the reason why we won, where we got a draw, was because of him. His progressive passing, and obviously anybody compared to Yuri Tillemans is still amazing. But coming down, Dewsbury Hall, if he plays, I'd say keep an eye on him. And if Nakamba's going to be busy, he's going to be one to look out for, because he's a brilliant box to box kind, not box to box, but he's getting the ball, dictating play. I want the ball. I want to pass it over here, spraying it long balls left and right. He's only 23, but I think he's got a big career ahead of him.
You always like to see that. It's so hard in the Premier League, isn't it, to like bring through academy central midfielders, because that role is just like is so important now. Like, you can't be a central midfielder that's just good at passing or like able to kind of bring the ball forward. Like, you've got to be able to tackle. You've got to be able to work hard now, just because of the nature of all the big buggers that are in the teams now. Like, for example, when you look at West Ham, you're not getting past Rice.
Just about to say West Ham. Yeah. Souček and Rice, I just look at and just go, that's proper David Moyes, but also just two players that know what they're doing. They get stuck in. It's going to be a great time. One thing as well, obviously, a player that's lit up the Premier League last year has not quite hit the same levels. Emi Martinez. Oh, well, both Kasper Schmeichel. He's not here at the same levels as well. But how's Martinez been? I think we've covered pretty much everybody as well. But how's Martinez been?
Yeah, Emi Martinez is brilliant. Like, in fact, within a heartbeat, if you asked me who is Villa's best player, I would tell you Emi Martinez.
Really?
100%. Oh, man. Like, he's in the top 10 goalkeepers in the world. You know, like he's the fact that he's almost like a national hero in Argentina now as well. Like, you know, he was the goalkeeper that was in charge, that was playing when Argentina won their Copa America. Like,
America, yeah.
So that was big. It was big. So I mean, you know, he's not had the best season so far, but I think that's also probably been just due to the fact that the team in general have been quite poor and that the form under Smith was pretty terrible. So I don't think that's down to Emi Martinez. Yeah, we probably conceded goals, but he saved so many. Like, he was on form in the City game as well. Probably could have done better with the first goal, but at the same time, some of the saves he made, like he for me is the best keeper we have had like since I started watching football.
Really?
Some people might still say Brad Friedel, but like no, I think it's Emi Martinez for me.
I think there's no competition between. Brad Friedel was great, but you didn't get him in his peak as well.
Well, I don't know, man. What was his peak? Was he 40 in his peak? Was he 38 in his peak?
Do you see what I mean? But you know what I mean in terms of like, it looks like Martinez. I think how old is he? Like 28, 30?
29, 30 years old. Like, yeah, like yeah. I think it's great that we managed to get him off Arsenal, and like they under their noses had the perfect goalkeeper available for a decade.
Yeah,
and we just bought him. Probably thought we were mad for signing him for 16 million or whatever it was, and no,
they went and got 30 on Matt Ramsdale. So and then they went, and then you went and obviously went to go and sign Smith Rowe and Smith Rowe and somebody else. Oh no, then Buendia and then Smith Rowe, and that really sent Arsenal into a tizzy. That did, as the rumours.
But then they beat us. They thrashed us this season as well. So.
We'll be interested to see where you finish in terms of them. I think it will be a tight spot between if you keep playing this way. Arsenal, I'm not sure because I'm not convinced by Arsenal. I think that
they're a mid-table team.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. I've been genuinely saying there's a mid-table. I had a whole argument about an hour ago with an Arsenal fan, which is good fun. I'm saying they're an average mid-table team and he wasn't having it.
The only thing that was stopping for me, Arsenal being seen as a mid-table team, the only thing was Aubameyang and Lacazette. And like, I don't know how long they're gonna really stay consistent for them. You know, they're both getting on a bit now.
Time for well, that's what I think. That's what his job is to bring the rebuild. Anyway, you said Babs will be fuming. Go and watch Shameless FC, my friend Ethan, because you will see me have a right go at him, and it's quite good fun. I wasn't salty. It was good fun. Dan, it's been a pleasure, my friend. Hopefully we'll try and meet up in person, but I've left your Instagram and your Twitter down there for people to join. Sweet. But just thank you for coming on again. It's just been so nice to catch up with you once again.
Dude, honestly, man, it's been so fun being here. Like, obviously, next time, hopefully, it's in my room in my proper studio and stuff. Like, sorry if the sound's been dodgy, but dude, I really enjoy talking football. But I really enjoy talking to you as well. It's been a while. I still remember playing on your DJ decks like it was yesterday.
Oh my god, I've got them. I can't take this out because but yeah, we'll definitely try and sort that out again soon. But yes, we'll get that sorted. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see everybody in the next video. So goodbye.